Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good night, depending on where you are in the world. We've dropped in on Typhoon Mawar once again. Hello. To see what the latest is. I'm live, just verifying that. Turn the sound down. Now, it's said to be heading for Taiwan. Today is the 28th of May. It's 12:34 in Sydney, 12:34 p.m. So the storm is gusting to 135 knots at the moment. That's pretty severe, actually. Around about 250. Calling it a Cat 4 right now. And the projection is for a decline in wind speed as it heads around towards Taiwan. Now, I think more likely, this is on the 1st of June, I think more likely is that it will end up going straight up into the island chain south of Japan. I think that's more than likely at this point, rather than impacting the Philippines or Taiwan. But still, it's too early to tell, and anything could really happen. Let's just have a look at this. It's not particularly helpful. I think it's a 3-hour track on Himawari that is useful from weather nerds. More to the point, I think, is the track to see where it's been. Right now, it's here where I'm hovering. 220, very strong typhoon. So it's just ceased to be a super typhoon in the most recent period of 12 hours. I pull back, super typhoon there 12 hours ago, 240, 250, pulling back one more, 250, 270, clearly a super typhoon, 295. We're going back now to the 25th, the end of the 25th, Greenwich Mean Time, 3 days ago. It looked almost 300 kilometres an hour, and the pressure had dropped below 897 hectopascals. I've seen different predictions, different estimates of hectopascal strength around, but that's a pretty good one, I think. So, the latest updates. Somehow Kevin Rudd gets a run in these weird ads that are appearing here. So Typhoon Mawar, latest updates is Philippines braces for a 175 mile per hour Cat 5 super cyclone. This is from the Independent. Really? Now, the only people who think that's going to happen. After a rapid intensification, Mawar has become the most violent storm, most powerful storm of 2023 globally, according to the Joint Typhoon Warning Centre. Now, I dare say that was true at one point, but it is no longer true. And the Independent should well know that. This article was only put up 1 hour ago, and it is just after midnight in London now on Sunday. So they should have known better. The Philippines Weather Agency said the storm is maintaining its strength as it continues to move northwards. Well, nowhere near the Philippines. Several areas in the archipelago are under thunderstorm and landslide warnings. I've no doubt that it could get windy and rainy there. The typhoon has also surpassed the strength of any storm recorded in 20 2022, experts say. Now, I don't want to quibble with people, but we're well beyond that now, and that just seems like a pretty alarmist headline. Have another look around. The Independent, it's a bit disappointing. So here's a story from the Red Cross about the American Red Cross helping out on Guam after Mawar caused considerable damage to the island. I think it was on Wednesday our time. Lucky, though, I'm not aware of any deaths. No doubt there'll be injuries, especially in the cleanup, but I think they were pretty lucky that they were well prepared. Here we go. A story from Yahoo Canada talking about cleanup efforts continuing. Let's get rid of that. That doesn't look like it's going to take us anywhere. I think that really, I mean, here's the New York Times talking about it moving closer to the Philippines. Yeah, sure it is, but no one is projecting that it will actually hit the Philippines. Typhoon Mawar. Oops. Run into a roadblock. Typhoon Mawar is moving west. Yes, we know this. Sunday morning in the Philippines, Mawar Center was about 500 miles east of Luzon. That's a long way. It's going to take a long time to make that distance, if indeed it ever does. It's moving west at 14 miles per hour. So, maybe 200-300 kilometers a day, according to the Joint Typhoon Warning Center, the weather agency operated by the US Navy. That wind speed is the equivalent of a strong Cat 4 hurricane in the United States. Yes, there's different scales for different places, unfortunately. It makes it pretty difficult to track these things. So here's a bit of a story from Guam. Let's just have a quick look at this. Nah. Just more advertising. I'm going to get rid of that. Super Typhoon Mawar, Betty raises concern for children in the Philippines. Mirage. Now, this is a pretty weird publication. Mirage News. It just sort of, in my opinion, it came out of nowhere, and a lot of this stuff seems to have been lifted from somewhere else. And it's pretty heavy on the advertising around the outside. I wonder if it's making any money. I'm not aware that they have any actual journalism going on there. This is UNICEF expressing concern before there's been any impact and without really there being any expectation that much is going to happen. I think that's very interesting. Let's just go to Twitter. Okay. Big cargo plane 747. This is James Reynolds, the professional storm chaser. More cargo and emergency flights inbound today too. I think the carrier group that have been in Japan should arrive any time now. Let's have a quick look at the top tweets. We're just going back over, people are sort of semi over this stuff. I think the angry staff officer, the salty staff officer, he did a great job filming stuff throughout this car that got damaged. Yeah, fine, but let's have a look at stuff that's a bit more relevant. It's all just going to be dominated by the Guam typhoon. Let's say Mawar. Climate radar. Very interesting. Not going to give us much. Mawar forecast. Let's get serious about this. Panahon TV, regional forecast for Mindanao, issued at 5 a.m. on Sunday, just a couple of hours ago. Eye of the typhoon, 800 k's away. Yeah, fine. Not really much of a story, is it? Here's the Philippines predictions themselves from the Philippines Atmospheric, Geophysical and Astronomical Services Administration. It's probably worth following, actually. Well, that map is remarkably similar to the map produced by the Joint Typhoon Warning Centre. It is the map produced by the Joint Typhoon Warning Centre. It's moving northwards, not likely to impact with anything in the Philippines. Of course, if it did, that would be a bit of a problem. Cagayan, Isabela, Aurora, those provinces in northern Luzon on the coast, there's basically, they had so many typhoons through there that there's nothing there. So maintains its strength while moving over the Philippine Sea north of Luzon. I've got a bit of an issue here with my top of my screen. I'm going to have to resolve it. There we are. Hope that works. So, I've got no problem if this was actually going to be happening, but people should know better than to be producing this type of material. I accept. I'm going to read a whole lot of crap from the Independent, and I don't know why I'm volunteering for that. Japan Meteorological Association. Japan. Well, let's have a look. What does Japan Met say? It's Mawar, Japan. So if anything happens, it's far more likely that it would hit one of the Japanese islands in that chain. I just don't see this as being much of an issue. Let's have a look at GDAX. So there's our track. So here we go. 4 hours ago, someone posted this piece of misinformation, in my view. Oops, I'm just getting stuck here with paywalls and whatnot. Why don't I pull up the Mawar, Japan. Hurricane Typhoon alerts. Let's just have a look at how credible is that. Let's have a look at that. Yeah, okay. Seems like a bit of a stretch, but anyway, heading all the way along the east coast of Japan. Not sure. This is interesting. Follow Force 13. Be quite good, actually. One heading in to the US. Yeah, doesn't seem to be any real risk, any prospect of risk to the Philippines at this stage, nor Taiwan. But that could change at any moment. It's no longer a super typhoon. Yes, that's true. It's a bit Japanese for me. Storm watch. What are they talking about? No sound, just as well. Okay, that's an interesting graphic there, showing the direction of the wind. There's some ship out there. Okay. A pleasure craft. Well, that's interesting. Probably should have put marine traffic in. Marine traffic. Now, I think I can overlay weather on this. Oh, there it is, right there. That's it. That's how they got it. Okay, that is interesting. And there's some dude out here, a cargo vessel. There's a few cargo vessels out there. Wasn't that long ago that a ship out there carrying livestock was lost with vets, crew, captain, livestock handlers out of AIS range. Well, that could probably be a lot worse. Tanker. I haven't used this for a while. No, that's not it. So that's the explanation for that one. Here's a projection from Stormwatch. Of it taking 5 days to move through that area. I'm not interested in what he has to say, actually. There is broad acceptance now that this thing is highly unlikely to impact the Philippines. So UNICEF will have to wait for another occasion to the handout. James Wilson, a tornado kid. Follow him. That is interesting. All right. Well, I think, the scaremongering over this can be put to bed now. Well worth watching. You just never know what will happen ultimately, but there seems to be no basis, according to credible reports, of concerns about the Philippines or Japan being impacted. Now, just want to quickly click through stories. See, that's just pulled me back home. I don't want to see that. So, as usual, yes, the Filipinos have called it by a different name, Betty. It's in their area now, so they will have had something to do with it. But, this shows petering out to just a severe tropical storm by the 1st. Where are we now? With the 28th. We are sort of here. in this zone, somewhere between, well, I think it's just after midnight Greenwich Mean Time. It's 2:30 UTC. Um, you know, it's actually slowing significantly right now. 897 hectopascals at midnight UTC on the 26th. 6th. Goodness me, it must have been a bit of a trying moment if you were attempting to sail a vessel through there. Wow. Well, I'm going to switch off in just a couple of minutes. So just have a quick hunt around for a few more bits and pieces that might be relevant. Japan Times. A bit old, this story, but still worth having a quick look. Strengthens, say that's 24 hours old almost, that one. It's no longer strengthening. Yeah. I suppose that there's some sort of incentive for people to talk it all up, but it's slightly annoying. Anyway, so that is all there is to say on that. I'll keep watching it, and if anything comes up, I shall quickly jump on it. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you very much. All right, then that's it.